Hi guys, welcome back. All right, so Ophiuchus. Sorry, it took me a little bit to get to you guys. I did see the request to get Ophiuchus out a little sooner, but better late than never, I suppose. Thank you guys for your patience with me this week. All right, so we got the Judgment card, Scorpio energy, and my question on this was just kind of, what is the thing that the light is shining upon? What's being illuminated? What's even being thought out? You notice we have a very sunny background of Tuscany behind me. The way I look at this is we have got some beautiful energetic alignment. It could be that there's a particular moment where a character, almost like this, like, Gabriel blows that horn and they hear it and they go, oh my gosh, something in me has reawoken. I have a flood of like beautiful energy flow. I feel balanced. Maybe somebody turns on a particular piece of music and it just fills them with like a real sense of happiness or a sense of, for me anyway, music is like food. Like it literally can make me feel like a physical response, like when you're satiated from eating really good food or even just something that makes you really happy or something. I'm going to say it could be maybe somebody's listening to, like different frequencies that are for awakening and energy healing. But we have a character who is experiencing a wonderful, energetic, I'll say it's not a healing. I don't want to use that word. It's an energetic power up. It's like somebody flipped a switch on a gigantic generator. And whatever method flips this switch on, maybe it's a really great lucid dream and they wake up just feeling like they're floating on air, feeling so good. Maybe it's just really restorative sleep, not dreams at all per se, but just like they wake up and they go, oh my God, I feel so much better. I cannot even believe how stressed I was, how tired I was. Maybe it is some kind of words of encouragement that they hear or they read somewhere and then their mind digests it and they come up with a plan. But this feels very much like someone has this energetic uplift going through them. And it could be very associated with suddenly this character is like, they're firing on all cylinders. Their mind could be sharp as a diamond. They all of a sudden have solutions for stuff that they were worried about previously. We got this Eight of Pentacles in the reverse. Nothing feels like a drag. Nothing feels exhausting. Nothing feels like, I don't know how I'm going to do this. It's going to be so hard. How am I going to do this? None of that is in this story. We have a character that feels so much better, so much freer. I think that we have a lot of balance. I think we have a lot of joy. I think we have a lot of wish fulfillment coming in. I think that we have everything that this character needs is coming in for them. And we have this Knight of Wands. The only thing with this Knight of Wands is there's this funny little mushroom on the top of this wand that is like a little bit of one of those, what do they call them? The death caps, the poison caps. This reminds our character that as much as they maybe suddenly feel powered up and they're ready to like race forward, anything in excess can become a negative. Racing too fast towards something, being so certain that this is okay, I've got this power, I've got this energy, I know just what I'm going to do, and I'm just going to leap before I look, or I'm only going to be passion driven and not use logic. That can still lead us astray because that little death cap mushroom is on the top of that torch that they're using to light the way. So it's great to be motivated. It's great to rush forward into things that really feel positive, especially when they're in this beautiful alignment. But that doesn't mean that even with the best of intentions and the best energy, we couldn't go just a little too fast and then tumble and fall. This says it's still prudent, even when we're in this beautiful vibe, still prudent to go ahead and take time. Now, of course, because this is the Judgment card, oftentimes this can be a card of reconciliation. I would say this definitely applies in that case. Deciding to reconcile with someone, feeling like there's a lot of love, feeling like it all clicks, feeling like, oh my God, I can't believe it. They're back in my life. I'm back in theirs. And this feels amazing. And it feels like we're going to be able to have this incredible life together. By the way, that was 4:44 as I was saying that on the time clock. It assuming everything's going to be perfect, rosy, wonderful, and that there's no need to still take it at a sensible pace, especially if it's reuniting with someone, that could get our character into some trouble. So there is an energy of like, well, let's think of it like this. If we were to, turn on some really powerful generator to generate electricity, that generator also is something like, we don't want any like, you don't smoke next to a gas pump for a reason, right? There's a lot of power there. We don't want to ignite that. The gas is really useful in our vehicles, but we don't want to ignite it. Same thing, a big powerful generator, we don't want to short circuit it, or we don't want to light a match next to it, because there's a lot of energy there that can be used for good or can be highly destructive. So we need to be mindful still about how best we use this and keep everything in balance and keep it happening at it doesn't have to go slow, but it shouldn't be maybe a breakneck pace or a pace where it's like, oh, it's just pure passion without anything to harness it. It's important to harness power if we're going to use it wisely. And right now, our character has a ton of power, so they could push forward wholeheartedly. If they are, I feel like this is talking about somebody who's coming into possibly a romance. They could be rekindling a romance, and it feels like, oh my God, this is happening. We're finally back together. This is going to work. And yet, I don't know so much if that's going to be the perfect way to look at this. This says boundaries, Queen of Swords. So far we've got Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. We've got Sag. We've got Earth energy as well in general. So we have Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn, and we have Scorpio. We got everything here. But boundaries are important here. And we have a King of Pentacles. And when it comes to boundaries, it's also placing boundaries. I think this is what our character is having illuminated to them right now. Everything feels like it's moving in the right direction. A reunion, a reconciliation is on the way that feels effortless. And it's going to be really tempting to just jump into this. But we're kings and queens, not knights. Knights are foolhardy and they take off and they just race in. Kings and queens say, no, we're here for the marathon, not the sprint. So let's take our time instead of take off our clothes. let's spend time enjoying each other's company. We're just now reconciling. We're just now coming back into a union. This feels amazing. We both feel really empowered by this. And I'm willing to bet right now that both people feel really empowered by this. There could be some amazing conversations. There could be a lot of this. Gabriel's horn could be like, maybe they are rekindling their romance by somebody sends, that beautiful piece of music with that sexy horn section, the sexy saxophone, or I'm picturing like something that has like a really great horn section in general, like old Motown, like Otis Redding kind of, that raspy, sexy, husky voice. Oh, Otis is one of my all-time favorite voices on this planet. It's Otis Redding. But I feel like That's How Strong My Love is the song that's in my head right now. Kenny Stanton did a really good cover of that too. But I hear Otis. But I always hear Otis. If these two are exchanging, maybe they have their song and they're hearing their song, or they're sending that to each other, or they're slow dancing to that, and they're having magical, energetic experiences. They're really connecting. They're really feeling like, oh my God, this is right. It clicks this time. We're back in union. We both are connecting in this really highly romanticized way, but also like with a language of love that we're both speaking the same language finally. This says still not to rush in to the passionate side, to take time to sit with each other in the mature energy before we get into the carnal energy. And that's, let me ask why. By the way, I'm not telling you what to do, by the way. This is just for our characters, right? This is fictional storytelling. I'm not a psychic. So just bear that in mind. Two of Swords, because there's stuff that neither one knows about each other yet. Maybe they've had time apart, and maybe there are things that they haven't been honest about yet. They haven't brought to the surface yet. These two characters need to discuss the important things in life, where they've been, what they've been up to. It's not enough for them to have this beautiful reunion and then they're both expecting some fantasized vision of, like, there's only you and me, and I forgot that, oh wait, in the time we've been apart, we both may have had completely different lives. We may have bought a house with somebody else and we still haven't sold that house. We could have business entanglements. We could have a lot of debt. We could have, well, I actually have a stepchild with my ex, but I'm a big part of the stepchild's life. And even though I'm not with that ex anymore and I want to reunite with you, I'm still going to play a parental role in my stepchild's life because a lot happened while we've been apart. These two could have been apart for a significant amount of time. And it just looks like there are things, the nuts and bolts of a connection that probably have to be addressed, things that neither one has yet seen that the other one, I'm not saying they're hiding things from each other. It's just when two people reconcile and it's all about them getting back into the energetic flow of togetherness. First, it is like, I only exist in your world and you exist in mine. That's the only part that we pay attention to. But that's not the full story. And they both have to be mature enough and are mature enough to identify that. The only thing here is for this Ace of Cups to be here and in the reverse, either they each still have a secret fear, do they love me enough? Or they each still have a secret fear, did they love somebody other than me? Or they both still have a secret fear of, will they still love me when they know X, Y, and Z? Let me just see. They're both in such a mature energy here. By the way, I don't know which Ophiuchus is, if Ophiuchus is necessarily the Queen of Swords or the King of Pentacles. I would view them as a Queen of Swords myself. Okay, so we have a Six of Cups and we have a Six of Swords. You know what it really boils down to? These two both actually want reassurance. You really do see me as a soulmate, not just, okay, I know that we're in this vibe. I can feel that we're really connecting, but do they feel like this is a really sacred and important connection? Or is this just like, oh yeah, I love you? Or do they feel, I think both characters feel like this is a huge soulmate energy and that maybe they had to separate for a period of time because there were lessons that they had to learn. Maybe they helped each other embark on those journeys, and yet they also have been, it's like they both need reassurance. It feels so right to be back in a union, and we can leave behind the time that we weren't together. I think that they both need to know that they never stopped loving each other either, even in the time that they were apart. I think it's a very big thing. I think it's a fear. I think it's something they don't know how to ask the other, but I think that has to be addressed so that it's not just like, was I just out of your life for a while and you didn't think of me at all? And now that I'm back, now it's like, oh, wow, this really rocks. I think both of them want to be reassured by the other. It was always you. I thought of you daily. Those memories that I had of us when we dated before, when we were together before, that was such a great day. That was one of the best times of my life. It's almost like they need to know that they each remember little details so that this isn't just, oh, we're so happy we're back together. There are deeper fears here that both carry, and they both, I think, struggle with, how do I explain that I want the reassurance? Even though I feel like this is really strong and even though this feels really passionate, I still need some kind of extra reassurance. Like, I really am more than just special in your life, right? There's something that we share that other people don't share. There's something you don't share with others that you share with me, some kind of a bond that is special to us, right? It is different for us, right? Otherwise, if they don't feel that, if one or the other doesn't feel it, it's kind of going to kind of be like, I'm almost afraid to hear the answer, because if they don't know what I'm talking about, then I'll know this is a one-way street and maybe a bit of an illusion. But I think both of them feel that way. Like, I want somehow for you to tell me that there's nobody else on earth that you felt like this about other than me, that you remember that day we sat there and had blossoming lotuses. I don't know if it was lotus tea or something like that, but I remember you were wearing fuchsia, and I remember you had, blue and white striped shirt on that made you look like a stinking referee. I teased you about it. Where's the game? Are you reffing later? Yeah, I'm sorry, but that's what that looks like to me. I know. I just feel like these two both need to talk about their fears. That's what this story really says. There is a wonderful love and seemingly effortlessly reunion that feels so beautiful, so powerful. But before they leap into physical romance, they need to address their fears in this story. And their fears are just like, please tell me that even when we were journeying in different directions for a while, because soulmates do tend to do that, because they have lots of lessons. It's like we're in school and it's like, okay, I got to spend, whatever history class with you, but then we both go different directions because you're going, your next block is like to math and mine is, whatever PE. And then I'll see you again later on for English class. It's like they may have to separate for a while and then to learn other lessons. And then they come back around and graduate together. It's a little bit of that vibe, but they want to know that you were still thinking of me, right? Because this is special between you and me, right? I think they both have the same fear that what if I wasn't that special? What if they don't know what I'm talking about, when that's kind of the reassurance I need? So I think these two are going to get to that conversation, but I think it's important that they have that conversation before they start to try to get into something physical, because I think that would make it even harder for them to ask those questions. So it'd be better to cross that bridge first, is what this suggests. All right, I'm going to leave that one there. Thank you so much for hanging out with me, Ophiuchus. Lots of love to you guys. I'll see you in the next one.